Good morning. Who would have thought that an ozone generator would be an effective part of an auto and tire center's marketing campaign? That Facebook live events would draw hundreds of customers for an upscale resale boutique, or that you'd have to completely change the way people access a menu in your restaurant. We'll share these stories and cover other topics as we hear from 3 local companies who adapted successfully to the challenges of doing business in 2020. Good morning again and welcome. I'm Mike Reith, publisher of Delaware Business Times. On behalf of our team and the Small Business Development Center, we're glad that you were able to join us for this timely discussion on changing business plans to deal with the impact of COVID-19. I'd like to thank our sponsors of the 2020 SBDC series, including BNY Mellon, Union Park Volleyball,
and Lancaster County Chamber of Commerce. Their support is greatly appreciated and makes this presentation possible. Thanks again for zooming in with us today. I'll turn things over to Margo Ray, Business Advisor for the Delaware Small Business Development Center.
Can you hear me?
I
can't hear anybody.
Audio. Margo, you want to try again?
Can you guys hear me?
I just heard somebody there.
Okay, that was me. All right.
Okay.
I couldn't hear anyone speaking.
All right. Okay, let me start this over. I apologize. I thought I was going to be unmuted. Apparently I wasn't. So good morning, everyone, and thank you, Mike. The SBDC is part of a nationwide network that provides free technical assistance and training to small businesses. We've been happy to partner with Delaware Business Time to provide these webinars to you. Thank you for attending this webinar on adapting successfully, which is something all businesses are doing right now. Thank you. I especially want to thank our sponsors, BNY Mellon, Harvey Hanna, the Newcastle County Chamber of Commerce, and Union Park. I also want to really thank our speakers, Paul Campanella, Michelle Scott, Lori Ewald, and Bobby Pancake. I'd like to introduce our first speaker. Paul Campanella was born and raised in Wilmington, Delaware, and he attended Delcastle Technical High School where he studied auto mechanics. In 1979, he realized he wanted to be a technician/mechanic and had the vision of providing excellent customer service, which would ensure a successful business. In 1986, he opened his first Campanella's location in North Wilmington. In 1983, he married Karen, and they have 3 grown children, Anthony, Kristen, and Jillian. He also has 1 amazing hunting dog, Finn. Paul?
Good morning. Thank you for inviting me, Margo. When this whole COVID thing hit, we brainstormed in the early stages on ways that we could sustain our business through this crisis. We were deemed an essential business, and this meant we needed to jump into action right away. The 3 things that we focused on, 1 was our customers, 2, our employees, and 3, our community. First, the customer, and providing an extraordinary service through these extenuating circumstances. We provided Facebook videos at each of the locations describing our touchless service, our pickup and delivery, phone communication, and transactions. Our service team, the guys in the front there, they all made calls to the customers to make sure that they were okay and how their families were doing. And what could we do to make them feel at ease with their automobiles? Lastly, we've put together a free sanitation plan together for all of our employees with an ozone machine, which we actually have a video posted online. Can we take a look at that now?
At both Paul Campanella's auto locations, we are starting interior virus and bacteria cleaning for all vehicles. An ozone generator will be placed in every car before we wipe down the inside for service. What does this mean to you? The safer the inside of your car during this pandemic, the safer you will be. Robert Smith, the president of Quail Systems, stated, "Ozone has been proven to kill the SARS coronavirus. The 2019 strand has a similar makeup to SARS, and we anticipate it killing the newer, stronger strand, COVID-19. For decades, we have seen that ozone is the safest and most cost-effective option for protecting people by killing dangerous viruses and other threats. So, think about it. You spend a lot of time in your vehicle that is recirculating air through the cabin. So Campanellas has researched a synergistic approach to this pandemic and the service we already provide. Did you know that in past studies, 99% of viruses have been destroyed and showed damage to their proteins after 30 seconds of exposure to ozone? We are providing 15 minutes of ozone directly to your interior, and we will provide a Lysol wipe down as well. That will be a great way to keep you as safe as possible in your vehicle. All of our customers will have this available to them for free. Just call either our West 28th Street location behind Fulton Paper or our Pike Creek location at the corner of Kirkwood Highway and Limestone Road. Remember, together we will fight through this. We, the human race, have overcome centuries of similar problems, and we will prevail once again. At both
Not bad for cell phones, huh? That was all done thanks to my son, Anthony. That's amazing what they can do with the cell phones these days. Thank God we have kids. So second, our employees. Most of our employees' wages are tied to the profits of the business coming through the door each and every day. We've worked very hard to build our team, and our goal was to have no layoffs. We were happy we planned for a rainy day. So we structured our employees' pay to ensure their 2020 average in January and February would be met minimally bi-weekly salary for the 2 months. Also, we provided for our more at-risk employees so they could be safe at home and let them stay home so they wouldn't miss a paycheck. And third, our community. Showing support and appreciation for the city of Wilmington was very important to us. We started some raffles, some $50 raffle for some of our restaurants to help support them in these tough times. We donated some dinners to local firehouses, donated supplies to the Little Sisters of the Poor as well, some funding for them as well. Finally, we decided to help the heroes of our community, the frontline medical personnel and first responders, by performing free maintenances and oil changes for their vehicles. Important to us to take care of them throughout this time. And in summary, I feel we sustained our business through this crisis because our customers, our employees, and community were most important to us. This approach represents our mission statement best, which reads, "We at Paul Campanellas Auto and Tire Center want to be the best provider of quality products and services while leading the industry in these innovative processes." We wanted to give back to these three when they needed it most because they helped us build this business over the years, and we thanked them for that. And we thank you for having us here today. So hopefully that answers or lets you know what we did. Anybody have any questions? Or
Thank you, Paul. We're going to hold all the questions till the end. That was a remarkable short presentation talking about how you quickly analyzed what was happening in this current crisis and identifying some key things that could allow you to pivot your business to ensure your continued success. Great job. Our next speaker is Michelle Scott, owner of Designer Consigner. Michelle's originally from Philadelphia, and she moved to Delaware in 1985 and has worked for companies such as MBNA, First USA, Delmarva Power and Light, and Siemens Medical Solutions. After earning her MBA from Wesley College and spending more than 20 years in corporate sales and marketing, Michelle left corporate America and founded Designer Consigner in 2009. The store is located in Hocassin and is an upscale resale boutique for men and women. The business grew quickly from a 1,500 square foot facility to now a 3,000 square foot beautiful boutique. boasting more than 3,200 consigners across 7 states. The boutique offers higher-end designer clothing and shoes, handbags, and other accessories, including jewelry. Designer Consignor has won numerous awards, including the long-time and continuous Best of Delaware for the best consignment bargain shopping for 11 years in a row. Michelle?
Good morning, everyone. Thank you so much for having me join this webinar. I'm honored to be among some amazing panelists and business owners who have also shown in the face of COVID-19 their resilience and ability to be able to pivot and change directions in a time of crisis. For us at Designer Consignor, when the governor shut down the state and asked everyone to stay at home and close businesses that were non-essential, we certainly followed those orders and we closed our doors. However, I was in the store every day and I offered an opportunity for my staff, those who were willing to still come into the store, to switch gears with me and immediately launch an online business platform. We have always had a very good social media presence with Instagram and Facebook, and that is one way we had always communicated with our customers and the community. But with an online store, we were now able to photograph our inventory and have it on a Shopify server where people could actually shop online and check out all in one process without having to come in contact with us at all. This required us to have manpower in the store every day taking pictures, hundreds and hundreds and thousands of pictures every day, all day, and sometimes all night. It included my son and my daughter, who also jumped into gear and helped me immensely to get these photographs taken and descriptions of our inventory up to our website. And it has become a very positive revenue stream for us as we just started to post pictures and put them online. Additionally, we came up with an idea to do something live every Friday night, and we decided to do sort of a spoof on Saturday Night Live, and we called it Friday Night Live, where we actually started as a 15-minute segment, and we got an overwhelming request from our viewers to extend it longer. So every Friday night we did live from Designer Consignor. It's Friday night, and my son would literally just photograph me, record me, filming me going around the store showing different new arrivals, different looks for working from home, items that were on sale, things that were highly desired items, Chanel, Louis Vuitton, things that people love, those higher end designers, and sometimes don't want to pay full price, and I don't blame them. So we started doing the Friday night live streams, and at one point we had over 80 people watching live on Friday nights, and we would all have a glass of wine in our hand and just talk about fun things in the store and new looks. And it ended up becoming a 7-week-long Friday night live every Friday night that gained a lot of success. And I think there's a clip here that you might be able to watch.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to Live from Designer Consignor. It's Friday night. So we have this really pretty lightweight. You can wear this as a beach cover-up. It is sleeved. And this is a size large. This is just the cover-up. And it's by White House Black Market. We have it for $24.99. It's light and airy. You can wear it over your bathing suit. You can wear it as a cover-up, or you can wear it like we have it shown over a cute top. This top is also adorable, bell sleeve. This is a small $24.99. Really cute look with the jeans. I believe these are Rag & Bone. Oh, sorry, J brand. And these are a 26 J brand jeans. They have the distress, hole in the knee already, fringed bottom. Very cute look. We paired it with a couple different options in terms of sandals and shoes. We have these really cute Tory Burch jellies, ankle strap, navy black and white, size 9. They're only $40.99. They are adorable, great for the beach, the pool, this summer. They can complete any look with your bathing suit or jeans. A very cute look. Another pair of Tory Burch. These are a size 10, and these are $87.99. Patent leather with the Tory emblem, mint condition, size 10. A great, other option to wear at the beach this summer, just out and about, just lots of fun. We also selected this Carlo Falci yellow leather flat bag. Very cute. It's got the Carlo Falci emblem. These are made in Italy. Very soft leather, very fun. We have it from eBay for $125. It's called the Butterfly, and we have it for $44.99. How cute is that? Lightweight, you can wear it as a crossbody, and you can also wear it as a shoulder bag. Wanted to show this bag, which is just beautiful. It's very well made. It's all straw with the leather and the beads and wood. Very nicely made bag. Great summer bag. And this is Patricia Nash. It is $52.99. It has its dust cover. Brand new, never carried. Zips across the top so you don't have to worry about anyone, reaching in and taking anything out of your shoulder bag. Fun bag. As I said, very well made, very sturdy. All the handles are reinforced with the leather. And cute, fun colors for summer. The hot pink, the black, nice look.
So that was just a little bit of our clips from some of our Friday night live streams. We did them every Friday night, as I said, for 7 weeks. It actually gained so much popularity that our phones would ring off the hook after our Friday night live streams, and people were buying most, if not all, of the items that we featured during the live stream. And then as the weeks went by, we would go back and look at those prior videos, and we started seeing upwards of 5,000 views where people were sharing our videos, and we started getting customers from all over, Atlanta, Georgia, Los Angeles, Texas, Boston. We were getting customers who were friends of people from the Delaware Valley who had received our Friday night live stream link and wanted to shop with us. So we started fielding those people to our Shopify store. And then on June 1st, when the governor allowed us to reopen, we were ready to go. We had already had another revenue stream, going and in motion. So we were able to pick up where we left off, and our employees never had to skip a beat. So we were very blessed and very thankful for our customers and the community who supported us. We offered gift cards, that were buy one, get one half price. And that was another great way for us to sustain the revenue stream. And it helped our customers who ended up getting basically 50% off because they purchased gift cards during the shutdown. So I'm very grateful and blessed for my staff and my customers and my consignors who were all there for me and helped us pivot. Literally, we had our online store up and running within 8 days of the shutdown, and we started doing the Friday night live streams within a week of being closed. So again, something that just started as, fun, a little video clip of me in the store, ended up being a very, very positive revenue stream for us and a great way to connect with our customers when we couldn't see them in person. Any questions?
Thanks, Michelle. That was great. And what an incredible use of technology to take advantage of during these crazy times that we're experiencing. You clearly successfully adapted your business to deal with the things that were happening at the time.
Yes, thank you.
Our next speakers are both from High Five Hospitality Group. Lori Ewald is the marketing manager for High Five Hospitality. She oversees the marketing strategy and execution for 11 restaurants. They include 8 Buffalo Wild Wings, the Stone Balloon, Limestone Barbecue and Bourbon, and Expectation. Lori was born in New Jersey. She grew up in upstate New York and Pennsylvania, moved to Boulder, Colorado for a while, then to Cleveland, Ohio, and finally moved back to Delaware to be closer to family. She has an undergraduate degree in psychology from Bloomsburg and a master's degree from Villanova in human resources. She's a national civic leader for the Delaware Air Force Base. Both she and her boss, Bobby Pancake, are the only active national civic leaders to represent the Delaware Air Force Base at the national level. They partner with the Command of Air Mobility Command and have previously been traveling every 6 months to different bases to provide advice and counsel in regards to civic relations and advocacy for the military. She has 2 college-age children and resides in Dover. As I mentioned, joining her is Bobby Pancake. After 21 years in the restaurant industry, working for companies like Kentucky Fried Chicken, Kenny Rogers Roasters, Buffalo Wild Wings, Bobby moved to Delaware to become a Buffalo Wild Wings franchisee and retry his hand as an entrepreneur. Since opening that first restaurant in 2004, High Five Hospitality has expanded to over 600 employees and operates 8 Buffalo Wild Wings locations in Delaware and Maryland. They also operate 2 independent restaurants, the Stone Balloon and Limestone Barbecue and Bourbon. In 2019, High Five Hospitality became an international franchisee of a breakfast concept called Expectation, with a June opening in Christiana. High Five Hospitality continues to vet out partnerships and additional franchises and independent brands for future expansion. Bobby serves on the board of directors for the Delaware Restaurant Association and Franchise Business Services. He is chair of the Culinary Advisory Committee for the Delaware Department of Corrections. He serves on the Buffalo Wild Wings Franchise Advisory Committee, and he participates in 2 subcommittees. He's a civic leader for the U.S. Air Force Air Mobility Command. Bobby and his wife reside in Bear, Delaware. They have 3 sons, a daughter-in-law, and 2 grandchildren. Bobby and Lori, tell us the story of what you guys have been doing.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you to the SBDC and Delaware Business Times for inviting us to this. It's an honor to be with this group of panelists, and we hope that we can provide a little bit of insight into how we approached COVID-19 when we were blindsided by it mid-March this year. You can go ahead and go to the next slide. I think most on the next slide is basically the history, what you heard in the bios. So there's when we opened the restaurants, and we're going to skip right through this slide since you've already heard it. So let's talk about our wake-up call, which happened a year ago. So in April of 2019, one of our Buffalo Wild Wings location had a case of hepatitis A. And there was a media firestorm that followed that by Delaware Online and in the newspaper. And the public reaction was crazier than I ever thought it would be. I did find out for the first time when you read the articles or you read online what we've heard referred to as fake news. Because when it's said about you and you read it, you realize that not everything that you read on Facebook, online, in the newspaper is 100% true. But nevertheless, it happened. There were hyped up headlines and truth was masked by fear. And what we saw was a drop in sales in our Buffalo Wild Wings restaurants from 50 to 75%. That was a year ago. And what we found out is we needed to adjust and react to that situation, to trim the fat, to go lean, to decide what's nice and what's necessary. And the reality is we were really looking forward to lapping those sales results when we got to 2020. Next slide. And then COVID hit. And what we had to do is rely on the lessons that we learned in 2019. The first lesson that we learned was to be the buffalo. Now, this has nothing to do with Buffalo Wild Wings. It's a coincidence. But it's interesting that if you watch a buffalo buffalo when a storm approaches, or you watch a cow when a storm approaches, cattle tend to turn and run from the storm, making the storm last longer. And I knew this because I grew up on a farm in West Virginia. So I knew how cattle responded to a storm. But what I didn't know is how buffalo responded to a storm. And what a buffalo does is it turns and it goes right into the storm, face first, which means that the storm doesn't last as long. You come out the other side. So that was the lesson that we learned in 2019, and we took that into 2020. What we know is that the recovery time takes 12 to 18 months, that it is filled with tough decisions and sacrifice, and that the only way you can get through this is to determine to rise. So that's what we did for 2020. We set our theme for 2020 to rise. And then COVID-19 hit, and we needed to go to our playbook and look back to see where we had gone before. History tells you a lot of things. Next slide, please. But we had the game plan. We had the playbook. And we knew that we needed to adjust the sales. What we didn't know is that sales were going to drop 71%. But when that happens, and the government steps in and tells you you need to close your business or change your business model, you have to adjust. I'm surrounded by a team of great people. I'm surrounded by people that helped me weather one storm. And when we went into this, what everyone was calling uncharted waters, we had a map. We knew what to do. And when opportunity knocks, we knew that the things that were dragging us down needed to be thrown overboard. Now that sounds a little bit callous, but we had to make some tough decisions when sales are down 71%. So team members that weren't necessarily part of our team, that didn't add value, they weren't with us anymore. But it got worse. We had to furlough, ironically, 71% of our team members. That hurt because we're in the people business, but our business model had changed. We adjusted our hours of operations. We went from being open 12 to 15 hours a day to being open 10 hours a day. Our independent restaurants, we closed 2 days a week. Some of our restaurants, we were only open on weekends. Whatever.
Not only to our team members, but to our guests. So things were moving very quickly. We had to make sure that our information was accurate. We had to make sure that it was updated in all of the places because guests were wondering what was happening. So we definitely had to enhance our communication, make it accessible, make it accurate. We also had to, we shifted from community, like being out in the community with Little League signs and fundraisers in our restaurants to pretty much strictly digital. That was a huge pivot for us. We had done a lot of digital before, but to take all of our marketing from a lot of it being community-based to the digital platforms was incredible. So we enhanced our presence on all platforms from Google to TripAdvisor to Yelp. We made our food pictures sexier. We made sure that they were on Instagram and Facebook. We also joined a lot of groups up and down the state. There's a lot of Facebook groups that offer takeout and delivery. And that was a great forum for us to find out exactly what our guests needed, what we wanted. We used their input from these groups to kind of help guide us a little bit more. We would pay attention to what they wanted as far as food, what they wanted as far as deals, what would make them feel comfortable to come to our restaurant to get takeout, delivery, curbside pickup. So Our digital platform really kind of blew up for sure. Following that was the modification of our menus and our features and our packages. Again, keeping our guests, giving them peace of mind, making them feel safe. You know, of course, we're following the governor's orders with single-use menus. Well, still, people didn't want to touch menus. And there's a budget that we've got to watch and that I really don't have anymore. So we had to find ways to be a little bit more creative. So we've used QR codes. And we had QR codes developed for every single one of our restaurants, which is awesome. So somebody can come in, we put a QR on the clipboard, the guest can scan it, it's right there on their phone. We also use that as an opportunity to cross-market across all of our boards. And what we did was we took all of our restaurants and we put them into a master bookcase. So when you go into our Expectation restaurant, you'll scan it, Expectation menu will come up, but then down below will be our other menus. So we're also able to cross-market and people can take a glance at our other menus, which is nice. We also had to modify our menus and again, communicate to folks that not everything is available. One, based on inventory supplies, there were issues with inventory supplies. We took advantage of special deals with our suppliers and were able to provide special feature nights. But we had to explain to guests that not everything travels well. So not everything is going to be available in this situation. So that was a little bit part of an educational piece that we had to take on. As we were listening to the folks on the digital side on Facebook and Instagram, I would ask the questions, what's everybody looking for? And people would say, I want family packaging. Okay, I would jump on a call with our chef and Bobby, and we would put together packaging, you know, large family packages. Well, then people would say, hey, Lori, I need packages for, it's just me and my husband. Okay, we'd pivot, we'd readjust. So we made smaller packages. So you'll see on the slide, for example, Expectation, we came up with the brunch box. And it's basically breakfast to go, everything you need. So we started with feeding 4 to 6 people, and then folks were like, oh, it's just, you know, 2 of us. So we made it for 2. So we made some of those modifications with our menus, which I think helped us definitely be successful. The other thing that we did was obviously online ordering and curbside pickup. You know, I would say one of the positives that came out of COVID, you know, this whole pandemic was that it kind of forced our hand to really implement online ordering. We did not have it in our independent brands, and we worked with Expectation to get theirs up and running as well. And we learned a lot throughout the process. But now we have online ordering, and then we discovered that people didn't really like to pay when they got here, so we made sure that was part of it. And then we realized that people didn't want to come in to pick it up, so we introduced the curbside pickup. So we definitely listened to the guests and what they were saying out there. And then the other thing I think that we did, just like Paul's team, is we started a program called Feed the Frontline. It's very similar. A lot of people are using Feed the Frontline. To date, we have $18,000 have been committed to our program. And we have done the same thing. We've provided meals to healthcare workers, law enforcement, the military, firemen, and ambulance workers. We still have money left to provide meals. So I'm probably going to be searching for some more opportunities. But COVID floors, COVID testing sites, whatever it was. And these folks have been over the top amazing about what we have done for them, when really they are the actual heroes. So we fed about 400 people to date. And like I said, we've got some more to go. And then the final thing that, we haven't been successful all on our own. We have a lot of great community partners, relationships. And a lot of the vendors that we use, they reached out to us and asked us how they could help us. So we did get some free radio time. We did get some free advertising space. We worked with some of the baseball teams like Delmarva Shorebirds, and they did raffles for their season ticket holders and gave away gift cards. So they came to us to buy the gift cards. So, if I didn't mention our partner relationships and how they helped us, because it wasn't just all of us. We definitely had a playbook and we worked quickly, but also our community partners helped us as well. So we have been busy on the restaurant. this is probably the hardest I've ever worked in my life, doing marketing for a restaurant group during a pandemic. But I think under the guidance of Bobby and the other owners and the playbook and the lessons we've learned from last year, I think we did okay. And we thank all of the guests for their support throughout this time, and all the heroes on the front line. So hopefully we've done a good job of letting people know how much we appreciate them, guests, team members, and partners, and healthcare workers and first responders. So thank you.
Then the last slide that we have, I will just say, much like all of the panelists and the folks that are on this Zoom call, we all learn lessons, and we need to document that journey. I hope we don't see a pandemic like this again in my lifetime, or at least for another 100 years, which kind of fits in my lifetime. But I want to encourage all of you to learn your lessons. And what we learned is you need to listen. And Lori mentioned this: listen to your team members, listen to your guests, listen to your peers. I've been on more of these Zoom calls than I want to even admit. And what I've found myself doing on most of them is putting myself on mute and not even speaking up, because I can learn a lot by listening, and there's no reason to repeat the things everybody else says anyway. So then the other is communicate, which I mentioned, and we did with our teams: communicate judiciously versus continually. Lead. I think as leaders, that's what's expected of us. We're expected to lead, to give hope, to give direction, to make sure that folks know that inside of all of us is some resiliency, that we can innovate and do things like QR codes, that we have an inner strength, whether we draw it from inside or we draw it from those around us. We have a strength that will get us through this storm, because this storm will pass, and that we need to elevate. One of the things that we did prior to the COVID-19 hitting, when we did our annual awards, we had a general from the U.S. Air Force there speaking to us about what it takes to rise. And she said something that I think is very fitting for where we're at now. She said, in order to get an airplane off the ground, there are 4 forces working against each other. You have lift, you have drag, you have thrust, and you have gravity. The key is, to get it off the ground, you have to have more lift than drag and more thrust than gravity. So rising takes work, and staying there takes balance. And that's really what this has taught us. Once again, year 2, I hope we get it so we don't have to go through it in 2021. But that's it for our presentation, and we'll turn it back over to you, Margot.
Thanks, Bobby and Lori. That was great. I especially love the idea of the buffalo and running towards the storm instead of away from it, because it's kind of normal human behavior to run away from a storm. But I think the wisdom of the buffalo: run towards the storm, face it, deal with it, and you'll get through it a lot faster and easier, is great. So we've gotten a couple of questions from our audience. If anybody else is interested in asking any of our panelists a question, go to the Q&A feature on your webinar. My first question is for Michelle. And the question was, do you work with influencers to promote your business? And you're going to have to unmute yourself. Oh.
Okay, hopefully you can hear me now. That's a great question, and it's interesting because prior to COVID-19, we've always, as I mentioned, had a very large social media following on Instagram and Facebook. And we started growing that following by doing what we call flat lays, where we would put together entire looks on a flat surface and photograph it and post it with all the details. And as our followers began to increase, the number began to increase, we started getting emails from all over, lots of places in New York, fashion houses and things like that, asking us if they could partner with us because we had such a great following and we had such great flat lays that they wanted to partner and become our influencers to get even a larger audience. To date, we have not done that. We have decided to just hold off on using any influencers because we really feel that our staff, we have stylists in the store, we have inventory specialists, salespeople, and managers, and our stylists do such a phenomenal job with social media and gaining our momentum with our followers that we have not used any influencers to date. But we have been invited and asked to be a part of many different influencers and groups who would like to use what we've already built and grow from there. To date, we have not done that. So we are still vetting those ideas.
Thank you, Michelle. The next question is for all the panelists. So how about if we go in order of Paul, Michelle, Bobby, and Lori again? So the question is, please describe how you obtained and used employee, customer, and vendor input to create your respective company's response to the pandemic. And Paul, if you want to unmute yourself, or if we could get you unmuted.
Yes. So one of the things that we did was, we have, staff at a couple different locations, and some of them actually roomed together. And one of our concerns was if somebody got sick, we wanted to make sure that they didn't carry it to all the locations. So we actually moved the employees that lived together or were together a lot to the locations where they were, so that until we got through most of this pandemic, in the event that one of them got it, we wanted to keep it contained to one location. So if we had to shut down a location because of this, we would be ahead of it, be able to stay in business.
Okay. And how did you obtain and use other customer or vendor input in your response?
I really don't have an answer. I mean, we follow the guidelines, with all the masks and making sure that, we had panels up where people came in, had outside seating, that type of thing, to make sure the customers felt like they were away from each other. That's about all I have there.
Okay. Michelle?
So for us, first and foremost with employees, we gave the option to our staff for those who felt comfortable coming in. The store was closed, the doors were locked. We were offering curbside pickup and drop-offs to our consignors and customers. And we gave our employees the option, if they felt comfortable coming into the store to work, they could do that. We had several employees working from home, those who did our social media and our constant contact marketing. They continued to work throughout the pandemic during the quarantine time from home. And then we had a couple employees who did not feel comfortable coming into the store and did not have the capability or access to work from home. So they decided to accept the unemployment compensation. So we had a little bit of a mix of employees doing different things at different times. And what we did in the store was, as a result of our customers and our vendors, we were able to install safety measures with the plexiglass in front of all of our registers. We went into a process where we began to wipe things down. If a customer did decide to come in physically to drop something off or pick up an item that was theirs that they were taking back because it didn't sell. So we had steps in place. We have hand sanitizers at every register, at almost every location in the store. We have 6 feet apart mapping on our floors so that people understand the distance between the next customer. Our vendors were great because they extended longer lead times for things that we ordered on a regular basis, like bags and tissue paper and tickets and barcoded things. So our vendors also gave us extended time frames in which we could pay our invoices, or longer lead times even for custom orders that we needed. Our Shopify platform became, the focus, and we were in the store taking photographs every day. Our customers still wanted to shop, and for those who didn't want to shop online because it may have had a shipping charge assessed, they were local enough that they could buy things on our website, and then we would take it out to the car for them. They wouldn't have to get out of the car. They would pop the trunk. We would put their returns in the trunk, or any purchases that they made. We could also pick up their items that they wanted to consign. So we just really went right into, on our website, we had a very long and in-depth COVID-19 response to what we were doing in the store for not just our staff and our customers, but for our consigners as well. And in store, now that we are open to the public and people can come inside, when people try items on in our store, those items get placed in a garment bag, and that gets zipped up for 24 hours before anyone can try it on again. So we have instituted some other safety measures as a result of COVID-19 to protect not just the employees and the customers, but everyone who may or may not come in contact with us or our employees, our customers in the store.
Thanks, Michelle. And so Bobby and Lori, the question was, how did you obtain and use employee, customer, and vendor input to create your respective company's response to the pandemic?
I think I probably touched on this a little bit in my presentation, but we solicited, we're a pretty direct organization. I'm a pretty direct person. I'll pretty much ask you what you think, what you need, what you want. And that's what I did. I went to social media and I specifically asked folks, and, I'll give you an example. I gave you an example before when we did the large packaging deals. Folks said they wanted smaller. Then I went back and I said, what else, are we missing? What are we looking for? Well, you know what? We might want to spend $50 at Stone Balloon, but we don't want to spend $50 to have our 5-year-old eat at Stone Balloon. So kids meals. A lot of restaurants are missing the fact that kids meals. So Chef and I put together this thing called Kids Table, which is basically an add-on to any of our meals at Stone Balloon for like $5 so kids can eat. So we definitely listened. And, for example, it wasn't just about food. It was about what was going to make you feel safe and give you peace of mind if you came back to our restaurant. And just listening to them. And some folks didn't want to sign their checks. Some folks didn't even want to come in. They just wanted to have the bags dropped in the back of their trunk. So we definitely asked questions, and we definitely listened to what they said and just took it right back to ownership and implemented what we needed to.
And I would say from an employee perspective, inside the 4 walls of every one of our restaurants, we're a pretty tight-knit family. And they have direct access to our chief operating officer and to myself. I'm even meeting over the next 2 weeks. I'm meeting with teams in every one of the restaurants, looking for those folks that are spokespersons and or informal leaders that will stand up for their team and talk about the issues that we face, not only in the COVID-19 pandemic, but what's going on in our culture. And I'm meeting with teams to talk about that as well. With regards to vendors, and I would even say the franchisor, Buffalo Wild Wings, has been very supportive. I said I've been on a lot of calls. Buffalo Wild Wings had, at one point, 2 calls a week. I'm at least on a call with them once a week talking about COVID-19 and other things around the Buffalo Wild Wings business model. I'm also involved with the Delaware Restaurant Association, and Kerry Leishman has done a phenomenal job at lobbying on our behalf with the governor and his team to get things as close to normal as we can get at this point.
Great. Actually, the next question is for Bobby and Lori. How did you guys bring back your furloughed employees?
We picked up the phone and called them and told them it was time to come back to work. When we got the PPP loan and read through what the requirements were for it, we much like the governor's executive orders, we just followed the guidelines and read what the guidelines said and understood what was expected of us if we were going to take this loan. And we did just that. We called the employees. I called our general managers into our conference room one at a time and walked through what their responsibility was going to be. And then we contacted the Department of Labor and said, we've called everybody back to work. So if they were collecting unemployment, they're no longer eligible. It's time to come back to work.
Great. That's fabulous. Lori and Michelle, we have someone who would like to know, what are the best marketing strategies for a new online small business?
I'll start. I think for any marketing, any size business, I think relationships are key. I am a connector. I think building relationships, and not just for personal gain, but for what you can do for others is critical. So I would say take advantage of those relationships. As far as your branding and things, I think like Paul did, Michelle did, I think the videos are key right now. I think anytime you do a post anywhere, you have to have a picture. I think tagging influencers, tagging other folks that you think might be able to help your business, friends, family, whatever, just to get you going in the algorithm. Right now, the algorithms in social media are just so crazy. There's not a real science right now because everybody is using social media. So I think you need to do what works, and that's tagging folks. When you go out to a restaurant, check in with your business. Oh, designer consigner, eating at expectations today is delicious. And as you start to pop up, designer consigner here, designer consigner, people are gonna be like, ooh, who's that? And they're gonna creep you. That's what we do. It's natural and human nature. And then I would also do some contests online. I would do some raffles online. We used to manage the operations for an Italian restaurant, and we were going to rebrand them. So for example, we were going to redo their gift cards. And what I did was a contest to have your family's picture on the gift card. I can tell you that that promotion was crazy. And then like at Thanksgiving, I gave away a free pie, and I had 100 shares. So I think using social media while it's all free, and then when you do, if your budget expands, the advertising is very inexpensive, and there are definitely ways that you can target an audience and get your message out there for cheap. So those would be some of my tips.
And for me, similar to what Laurie said, for me and with any small business, any business actually, the number one thing that you need to do is be creative. Times are changing every day, and I'm very fortunate to have a staff that is made up of, baby boomers, as well as millennials, as well as the X generation or Generation X. I have a very wide array of age groups that work for me, and creativity is, in my opinion, to me, the number one most important thing you need to think about in marketing. You have to be creative, you have to be different, you have to stand out. So as Laurie mentioned, we also, at the end of every one of our Friday night live streams, we did a live drawing on the computer. We showed live us actually selecting. There's a website you can go to called Magic Box, and you just fill it up with all of your entry applicants, and then it automatically randomly selects a winner. So we gave away $50 gift certificates every single Friday night, and those who were eligible were the ones who shared the live streams. So we could actually see on social media how many people were sharing the live streams with their friends who maybe weren't necessarily our customers to begin with. So then they became customers of ours because then we had their Facebook information as well. So being creative, doing things that are just different, offering giveaways, switching gears. We did things with every holiday, even though we weren't open. Easter, Memorial Day, Labor Day, whatever they are, we craft a sale or some sort of special around those occasions to get people interested and excited about shopping. So creativity in marketing go hand in hand. If you are creative and you can think out of the box and you can take a leap of faith and try different things, that's the best way to understand your depth and knowing your market, knowing who your customers are, where they're coming from. We spend especially me, a lot of time looking at the metrics from our Shopify site, where those people are coming from, how long are they on the site, what are they searching for, how many people are return customers online. So all of those strategies going together help to create a creative plan where you can then take that knowledge and say, okay, we have seen a stream of people searching for Lily Pulitzer in the last 10 days. So let's do a promotion around Lily and market to those people, as well as our other customers on social media who may also be looking for Lily, and let's do a campaign around that. So we make a lot of decisions, fly by the seat of our pants, so to speak. We look at the metrics and we act immediately. So we're always looking at the marketing strategy and always trying to come up with more creative ideas to get people's attention.
Great. So we're getting close to the end. I have two more questions I want to get to. The first one's for Bobby. Is being a franchisee helpful in times like these?
I would say it depends on the franchisor. We have two different franchise businesses. Buffalo Wild Wings has been very, very helpful, very engaged. They're operating in all 50 states and around the world. They can provide insight into what's trending in other states and what's happening with other governors to prepare us for what could come. And as restaurants began to open back up, we kind of had some insight as to how the trends were going to be inside of our restaurant. And it follows the same pattern across the US. In the other franchise, they're a little less sophisticated, but equally supportive, but not really engaged with regards to direction, kind of left us on their own, which I prefer to be on my own. So good and bad, it just depends on the franchisor.
Okay, great. And my last question is for you, Lori. And just kind of to try to end up on a more positive note, have there been any positives that have come out of this pandemic?
Absolutely. I think our team members, we have a new appreciation for our guests. We love people. That's why we're in this business. We love to serve people. We love people. And I think it made us really realize how much we missed our guests. I don't think they understand. And it's not just necessarily about the dollars in pockets, but we are social beings and we've missed our guests. I mean, to the point where we actually took our Buffalo Wild Wings car and our mascot and team members and swag out to one of our regular guests who has special needs and had not seen a visitor in over 2 months. And we took food to him with the car and the mascot, and he was over the moon. So I think it just kind of renewed our appreciation for our guests. That's probably the biggest positive that came out of it, for sure.
Great. Yeah, every cloud does have its silver lining. So sometimes they're harder to find than other times, but it is worth trying to find, the positives that we're learning in this situation. And we're at noon now, so we're going to wrap this up. This will be available on the SBDC website. There'll be a link to the YouTube site where this video will live. So you're welcome to come back or let your friends share the information. I want to thank all of our speakers. Lori, Michelle, Paul, Bobby, you had some really great things to share, and I'm sure everybody learned from what you had to say. I want to thank our sponsors, BYN Mellon, Harvey Hanna, Newcastle County Chamber of Commerce, and Union Park, as well as our partner in putting on these webinars, Delaware Business Times. Like I said earlier, we're actually going to take the month of August off, but we'll be back in the fall. Hopefully we'll be able to do some in-person programming by then, but keep an eye out for our upcoming programs. I hope everybody has a great rest of your summer. And if you want some assistance in helping your business adapt to these changing times, feel free to call the SBDC. Our website is Delaware, spelled out, sbdc.org. We'll be happy to try to help you work through these challenging times. And with that, I just want to thank everybody and tell you to have a great rest of your day.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you. Take care.